Good day and welcome. I just want to take a moment to say thank you for joining me here today. It's a pretty special day because, well, for one, it's a new moon, and on top of that, there's a solar eclipse today. You can take what you want with that, but let's put it this way. This being my first video, it's been a long time coming. I don't know if you can see it in my eyes, but I have been losing lots of sleep over deciding whether to start a channel and post videos or not. But here we are, so it's pretty cool. I'm gonna try my best not to be too serious here. That's not my goal, but at the same time, I do want to get my point across. And my point is that this is not I'm trying to find the words here. Let me tell you what it is first. It is my truth. For the purpose of this channel and this video, I will call this my perspective, but really what I truly believe is that it is this perspective. And we're going to get into that today. So, for the first couple videos I put out, I want to discuss 4 things. And they're all words that start with the letter P, just to make it easier. Today, the first P word is going to be perception, or perspective for that matter. And why I want to start with this is because I've realized that perspective in life is like gold. It is something I really value and something I've come to find that is really important. Perspective is having the ability to see one thing at multiple angles. And having that ability is crucial into well, for one, delving into your own life's mysteries, if you will, but also just getting a better understanding of your reality. So, a lot of what I'm going to be saying is off the dome, if you will. But I did write about these 4 Ps 3 months ago, so I have a little bit of a cheat sheet right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the definition that I came up with for perception. This isn't right or wrong. This is just what came to me at the time. Perception. How the self, capital S, self, sees the world and feels life's experiences. Now, this includes the innate consciousness that human minds share, specifically thoughts. So, perception has a lot of ambiguity to it, I would say. right now, when I think of perception, I think of ego. And for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to go too deep into that because, truthfully, I'm still learning what ego is. So, the most simplified version I could come up with right now is the way you see yourself. That's ego. Not the way others perceive you, but the way you perceive you. So I definitely want to add that there are at least two aspects to that. That being your lower, more, let's say, animal aspect of the ego, and a higher, eternal ego that makes you you and has made you you through countless lives. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent right now. I apologize. I'm going to be going on a lot of tangents here. This video is going to take as long as it needs. I don't really have any time limits here, but I'm going to try not to make any cuts just to preserve the authenticity of these talks. But if I have to pause, it's for a good reason. Anyway, see, I already lost my train of thought. Wow, that's embarrassing. Okay, we'll just keep pushing. So ego is that right there, what I just said. That's embarrassing. It's not, but, I saw it that way. That was the perception. And countless lives. Oh, that's the tangent I wanted. Thank you. So, this is coming from a belief of reincarnation, first of all. The tangent I wanted to go on was a critique of what I've seen in society, on social media, whatever it may be. And I'm thinking of people or posts of people saying, oh, you can tell, and this is people that believe in reincarnation, you can tell that this person is a brand new incarnation to the human plane, if you will, in a human body. And I think that's absurd. Like, if you can see that, kudos to you, props. But I think generally we've lived so many lives as humans that it's hard to even put into perspective, honestly. Countless. When I say countless, I mean like innumerable. But when people gain some self-awareness, they tend to inflate their ego. So, they'll say things like that to be like, oh, obviously this person is new to the game because they can't read the room. It's so silly. It's so silly. And I say that because if we were truly the judges that we think we are, we wouldn't be making remarks like that because you would have the perspective to see that everyone is on their own journey, and that means setbacks. People definitely had that ability to read the room, if you will, but it's getting harder and harder to recall that info from past lives, recall that knowledge, that wisdom, really. Especially nowadays, because there's so much out there to, I'll say, keep us distracted, but it's not really always distractions. It's just things that keep us occupied. But ultimately, people will get this information. If it's through me, that makes me feel good. Thank you. But you can get the same information from probably thousands of other channels like this. I'm not really doing this for anything else but to try and help just one person. Even if someone takes a grain of knowledge from this talk, then I did my job. But it's also to help me with my sanity, because I have a lot to say, and I don't know who to talk to about this. So if you found this, that means it's probably because I needed to tell you this. And I apologize for my maybe aloofness of going about this. Not really a professional at this. This is video number 1, so we'll see how this goes. Anyway, let's get back onto the topic of perception here. Perspective, perception. This morning, I went to go get bagels. And outside of the bagel shop were 2 men who were talking about something. I'm not sure exactly what it was, because I didn't really stop and ask. I didn't really care. But they had a poster up and a bunch of pamphlets and stuff that said how to end war or how to stop war. Very charged. So hey, I give them props for doing that, for getting out there on a Sunday morning to preach that. I don't know if they had any religious basis behind any of that, what the goal was. Again, I just wanted to get my bagels and go home. I was thinking more about this video than that. But, I didn't even think I was going to talk about them today, but that's where I'm being called to direct this, so we have some kind of path here. So, a big takeaway of perception is knowing that good and evil are perceptions of a thing. Goodness and evil are not that in themselves. It all depends on how you view that thing. So, the reason I bring up these 2 guys talking about how to end war is that when it comes to conflicts, that's just it. Conflicts are between more than one thing, different perspectives, Could be more than one. It doesn't have to be just two, but for the sake of this talk, we'll talk about just two. One side says, we're doing the right thing. We're stomping out this evil. But the other side is saying the same thing. So who's actually on the good side? Who's actually on the evil side? That's up to you, ultimately. But if you can see past those sides, you'll see that these people all just think they're doing the right thing. But can be ultimately, these people, instruments for good and evil forces, or good and evil energy. I'll get into that in another video, in the next video actually, but for now I just wanted to talk about the surface level of this, because I think I'm gonna have to come back to good and evil again, probably multiple times. I don't know if that's gonna be like the underlying theme of the 4 P words to remember. And also, please keep in mind that this is my truth. This isn't right or wrong. It is this perspective. And I say this perspective, not my perspective, because it's been formed. This perspective has been formed through many other perspectives throughout this life. So I'm not calling it mine because I didn't come up with these things. But I'm feeling called to be the instrument for relaying these things, being the medium for relaying these ideas. So let's talk about the self then. These are touchy subjects, by the way. Especially if you're religious, especially if you're a fanatical religious person to whatever it is. I don't care. The self is hard to describe. It's very hard to describe, for me at least. And this is like, if you're, you know those iceberg videos where it's like, you know, the levels of one subject? To some, this may be like, you know, the tip of the iceberg. And for others, this might be a little bit lower, where it starts to turn like blue and all that. So, anyway, the self. Capital S, self. And the capital S is there to put some respect on it, first of all. You need to give yourself some credit. You really do. The self might be easier to describe first by describing what it is not. At least not on the surface. The self is not this body, the skin, the organs, the bones that make it up. That is not the self. The self is also not the mind. Instead, body and mind are the furnishings for self. So, what do I mean by that? The self acts through a body and a mind. Heck, it acts through so much more than that, but for right now, I just want to stick to humans to make it easy for myself, really. So I apologize if this is information underload for some of you people. The self acts through the body and the mind. Really, it acts through the mind, which then goes and directs the body. So, if that's the case, why maybe someone's asking, why is it important that we take care of our physical being and our mental well-being if that's not what's the source? Well, that's a great question, first of all. If you really want to walk a path that would fulfill your life's purpose, your life's mission, I don't know what that is for me. You might know what that is for you, you might not know what that is for you, but either way, you're going to want to get to know and get to understand the self as best as you can to give you the tools you need to utilize that for the best good, for the highest good. Again, good is a subjective term here. But generally, we have an idea of what that is. Anyway, sorry. Why does it matter to take care of your physical well-being and your mental well-being? As a human, you are on the plane of action. All of your thoughts get fleshed out here. I'm talking about planes here because you would find, if you don't know already, you would find that this is not the only plane that your being, that yourself, resides in or on. For example, if you've ever heard of an astral realm, you're there too. You're in so many places. I don't know what they are yet. But we're talking about the human aspect of this. We're talking about the plane of action, which is Earth. So you want to do your best here. And you want to set yourself up for success. Your body and your mind are instruments, and if these instruments are in healthy condition, in healthy shape, the easier it is to act with your most pure intention, with clarity in your discernment of what that is. In my case, it is to relay these truths to you. So, how did I get here? Well, through many lives, for one, but I don't have recollection of those right now. So we're going to talk about this one. I had a vision yesterday. Maybe I'll start with this. I had a vision yesterday that I was fighting my way through a hall of demons. And the only way to progress through or go in any direction was to fight these demons, was to slay them. I was successful in doing that. And finally, I made it to the final boss. We can say it's the devil or the superior demon. I don't know what you would call it, really. Some people believe in Satan, some people don't. I don't have a stance on that yet. Anyway, I was successful in slaying all these demons that led up to the devil. But in the end, the devil had slain me, had took a sword and stabbed it right through my back. I guess like around like that. Sorry if this is graphic. But it wasn't out of hatred, believe it or not. He did not slay me out of hatred, but out of respect. This sounds so weird saying it right now. I sound like I'm inflating my own ego here, and I'm really not trying to do that. I'm just trying to, again, just relay this stuff. Out of respect. And he laid me down gently. And I say out of respect because the man himself saw that I was able to make it to him through the entities of darkness, delusion, and despair. So for him to kill me was saying that I no longer am attached to his battles anymore. I can focus on just being and expanding light. I haven't cried in years, and I didn't cry after coming to after that visualization, but I definitely felt very emotional. It really resonated with me. Dang, I hope you guys can see right now. If not, I hope you can hear. So how did I get here? Through a lot of darkness, through a lot of fire. I'll give you the easiest example of that I can. I was addicted to porn for like a good 10 years of my life, maybe longer. I don't have an exact time frame for that, but 10 years sounds about right. Because it was kind of on and off. Like when I was in romantic relationships, at first I was like, cool, I don't need porn anymore. I'm kind of getting my intimacy in here. But going into that, having already been wrapped up in that realm, if you will, my sense of intimacy was already so skewed. So I fell back into those traps, even being in relationships. I was also in the military for a little bit. No longer there, but I was. And when I was going through basic training, I had zero desire to, like, I wasn't thinking about porn at all. Maybe it was because I was surrounded by people all the time, and it just wasn't on my mind. So at that point in my life, I didn't think I had an addiction. In fact, I didn't think I had an addiction until a couple months ago, maybe half a year ago. It's probably in my journal somewhere. But very recently, I never would classify this as an addiction. It was just part of life and normal, which is, I mean, I'm going to talk about desire in another video. Actually, I don't really want to get into that right now because it's a whole nother tangent, and I don't even know how much time has passed already here. And if you're still here, thanks. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Anyway, so I got here through that. Through that darkness. And it was only just a couple months ago that I've stopped completely having a desire to watch porn, masturbate. I hope I can say that. I mean, I'm not trying to make any money off these videos. I just don't want this to get taken down, but I hope I can say that. You may or may not be addicted to something like that. Most people have a vice. And when I talked about distractions and occupations earlier, Vices, these are bold claims, guys. Hot takes. Vices and addictions don't just go away overnight. If you desire them to go away, that is. Because once they're a part of you, it's not about cutting it out, it's about working with it. That's all I'm going to say about that for right now. Because I think someone needs to hear that, or some people need to hear that. It's about understanding it. And that will come, I promise. I promise that will come. If you're watching this video, it will come. So, I got here through darkness, delusion, and despair. That being said, I am not perfect. And I have done evil things. Evil things. My motive wasn't to do these evil things, and I don't condone doing things that are wicked and evil. Let me just say that. Sorry, I'm getting kind of serious here. This is important. So, it wasn't that I was or am inherently evil. It's that my being was not being taken care of. My body, my mind was not being taken care of. So it made it easy for evil, negative forces, negative energy to use this instrument for that. So, there's other examples I can talk about, but for me it's just easier to talk about that because that's what I lived through. For you, it might be alcohol, could be another drug. These things in themselves, be it porn, be it alcohol, be it drugs, do have some capacity to aid, but honestly, guys, for the most part, it is hindering the instrument that is your mind and your body from being a vessel capable of attaining what your inner child truly wants. in what we can consider as the greater good. It's kind of different for everybody, but again, people kind of have a general idea of what good is. Maybe maybe an example of that is not killing people. That's like kind of easy. Not easy. I'm saying it's an easy example, I guess. No, this gets tricky. This gets tricky. Because let's take a look at an occupation for an example. Let's take a look at, say, a surgeon. Let's go even deeper. All right, we're going there. Let's picture a surgeon or like a field doctor from the Civil War. You know, when they were using like saws and hand drills to get through bone and all this stuff. They had to inflict pain on people in order to heal them. And the patient had to know that too. So while they're inflicting pain, the motive behind it was for recovery, was for healing. And I know people are going to skew these words. I just know it. That's not in my control though, So perception is, in a way, surface level, I think. The motive is what is important. Very, very, very important is the motive. I had to go through darkness. I did evil things so that I could talk about them right now. People do evil things because they have to. In order to transcend that. I don't know if I can say his name. Because in other YouTube channels I've seen, these people don't really say his name. So let's just go with the Austrian mustached guy from the 1940s, 30s. You know who I'm talking about. Like I said earlier, I do not condone violence, hatred, evil. If we want to talk about vessels for evil, it's that guy with the mustache. And he's not the only one. Heck, I was. Different degrees, sure. Again, perspective. Everyone's going to have an opinion on that. So, the reason I bring him up is because it's like, how could you even justify that? How can you justify what's going on today? What's been going on in the Middle East? Russia, Ukraine. Places in Asia. Everywhere. Nowhere is safe. Anyway. Sorry, I'm getting serious again. How can you justify that? How can you justify such evil? Well, it had to happen. As much as I don't like saying that, it had to happen. It had to happen for his soul. It had to happen for the world's perspective. How do we recover after such evil? Well, we have to transcend it. We have to transmute, alchemize, if you will, that energy into something beautiful, into that which is light. Good. I'm just going to say this one more time just to be very clear. I do not condone evil. I do not condone wickedness. I do not condone hatred and violence. And don't do those things. But you are going to fail. You are going to make mistakes. That's out of your control. That is so far out of your control. It's going to happen. Even when you do the work to prepare, even when you do the work to ensure that that doesn't happen, you will always do a great job of avoiding it, but there's things that have to happen. There's things that have to happen. There's lessons that need to be learned. My example was porn. I have other examples, but again, we're just going to stick to that for now. It had to happen. So, good and evil are perspectives of something. Understanding that no one thing has just one side will take you miles down a path of better discernment and better judgment. That's why perspective, to me, is so important. What does it look like then to gain more perspective? Someone's asking that. People are asking that. What's something tangible? Let me say this. It's as easy or as hard as you make it. It can be as simple as okay, sorry, let me backtrack. Obviously, I don't know if I have to say this or not, but obviously, you have to, I have to say this. You have to interact with at least one other person. And this could be someone that you already are close with, someone that you already know. But if you want another perspective on one thing, you need another person's opinion on that. Even if you don't agree with that, which you probably won't. Let's be real. Okay, that was kind of harsh. You might not. But just having that helps you understand that there's another side to this that someone perceives as, let's just say, good or evil. And why is this important? This will help you read the room. This will help you respect people's being, really. Respect their energy, respect their privacy, even. And that goes a long way. Really, it does. Really, it does. Because we're on the plane of action. Like, you have to take steps here. And it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter. Oh my gosh, there's so many things that don't matter. And I'm working on it. I'm working on it. For example, posting this video. It feels great to be talking now, but like for the, I don't know, month, weeks, in my head, I'm just like, I shouldn't do this. My lower ego was saying, don't do it. But myself, my high self was like, bro, it's time. And it's time for you too. Maybe not to make content, but do something. If you needed confirmation, this is it. And I'm sending you so much support to do what that is. I don't know what it is, but it feels good, and I know it. Completely lost my train of thought with that. Hopefully, as these videos go, I'll get better at that. And if you're still here again, awesome, thank you. Love you. So a tangible way is to just talk to people. I am very, by default, introverted. But once I get going, like, a switch gets flipped, and I can bounce around a room. And I love talking to different people. Like, I don't like staying in one area for too long. I can't stay in one area for too long with one person for too long in a social setting. Like, I have to bounce around. But at first, just getting there is really hard. And that might be the same for you too. And that's what it is. The anxiety, or the adrenaline even of just getting to that is so much worse than actually doing it. And I can say that now because I'm doing the thing now. Anyway, tangible way. You need people. And I know I have to say that now because people are resorting to computers for this aspect of life. Maybe that could help a little bit, but listen, like I said, this is the plane of action. You're not just doing it for yourself, You're doing it for others because we're all in this together. We're all on this plane of action to act. It's why we're here. And it's a gift. It's a gift that you're here. It's a blessing that you get to feel all of these things, that you get to have all of these perceptions and perspectives. Because that's what builds you. That's what's built me to sit right here now and talk about this to you. With you, hopefully. It feels kind of weird talking at, but really I'm trying to talk with you here. I'm trying to listen. Trying to listen. So, how can we improve our perspective? For one, go talk to people. It's scary. Getting there. But doing the thing, like I said earlier, put some respect on yourself. You're awesome. You are awesome. And another way is, I think what really helped me and has helped a lot of others is recognizing the cycles or patterns of your thoughts. We're going to get into that more later, but for right now I'm just going to say that because you truly can find the beauty in everything. You really can, in the most evil things. You really can. So, start to, if you have to make a list too, I always make lists of this because I like to write, but maybe you just like mental notes, whatever, I don't care. Start to make a list of things you're grateful for, grateful of. That is the key. That is the threshold you might need to cross right now. Is just getting a grasp on what you're grateful for. Because once you start, the list keeps growing, keeps expanding. I'm grateful that you're still here, watching this, listening to this. Maybe you're eating. I hope you're eating. Maybe you're on a really long road trip. This is perfect for that. Oh, man. You can find the beauty in everything. And sure, a robot could tell you that. A robot could tell you that. Straight up. A computer could tell you that. But to actually get and form a connection, it has to be on the plane of action. Has to be earthly. Yeah. We're going to talk about earthly stuff in a later video. After I go over the P's, I'll talk about desire. Because I see where a lot of you want this to go. And I want to give you that. I want to give you that. But for right now, we're not going to do that. Thank you for your patience. So those are the easiest ways I can think of to start gaining a better perspective, or a more abundant, encompassing perspective of yourself, your world, the people around you, getting out and talking to people, and recognizing what it is you're grateful for. And the reason I brought up me being introverted is because that was kind of part of the reason that I wanted to join the military, was for perspective. And I didn't even really realize that at the time. And while we're here talking about that, because someone might be saying, how can you join the military? How can you be a part of the military? And not be evil. And not be evil. They're in the business of war, conflict. It all comes down to motive. It all comes down to motive. And the reason I can confidently say that I had a pure motive going into this is because, well, no one really was expecting me to make that move. It was right out of high school, so a lot of people were expecting me, I think at least, to go to college right out the gate, play sports maybe even. But I didn't want to. Other people really wanted me to. It's not what my heart was saying. And I'm a people pleaser. My motive was to help. How? I don't know. I didn't know. But I just knew I'd be helping in some way. Helping someone survive. Help someone grow. Knowing darn well that I could be killed in the process, or might have to kill in the process. Thankfully, none of that happened. Thankfully, none of that happened. Really. And eventually that occupation didn't serve me anymore. But that motive stuck. That motive is still there. So although I don't know exactly what the destination will look like, where I end up, I know on the journey there, my motive is solid. So now it's about building around it. How can I ensure that this body and mind are set up for success? That's that. What else do we need to talk about right now? Because I still have a little bit of coffee here. What do we need to tackle? because I've probably been talking for over an hour. Probably been talking for way over an hour. Excuse me 1 second. 1 second. Just going over some notes because I feel like there's something that still needs to be said here. Okay. All right. Apparently, I was not being apparently I wasn't giving enough hot takes. And I wanted to avoid this topic. But it's probably for the better because I won't be able to sleep at night if I don't do this. So, we have to talk about religion. We have to talk about religion. Gosh, as much as I don't want to talk about this, I really don't. I must talk about this. So, it's beautiful. It's beautiful because religions are all talking about the same thing. From so many different sides, so many different perspectives, from so many different eras. There's new sects, and I don't know, cults, if you will, and branches being formed every day. So it's good. It's cool to have all these different perspectives because you can pick and choose what you want from each and rock with it. You don't have to stick with one. You can if you want. It makes some people feel comfortable. Whatever. I don't do that. Like I said, I can't stick in one spot for too long. I need to bounce around. So we need to talk about religion because, like I said earlier in this video, there are multiple sides to one thing. And I guess the one thing we're talking about here could be truth. We'll just say truth in general, truth about our origin, truth about where we're going, truth about where we are. That's kind of the basis of why religions exist. I think. I don't know. So to say that there's only one way, there's only one answer, from one group, it's kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. We want to talk bold, hot takes. That's a hot take. And you might rock with it. I don't. So, perspective is important because you're going to have to agree to disagree with so many things, so many ideas, so many people. You're going to have to do it with me. You might have to do it a lot with me. I've had to do it plenty of times. I have to do it with people that I hold really, really close to my heart. That I would go into a conversation with about something that I'm just like, oh yeah, they're gonna understand this. They're gonna shift their way of thinking just because I'm saying it. No, and you can't force people to do that. It doesn't work like that. If it resonates, it does. If not, agree to disagree and move on. Move on from there. That's it. We don't have to hold grudges. Just move on. That's a tangent. I don't want to go too far down because we're talking about religion right now. Most religions have idols, avatars, really special people. Very special people. And I say this because, let me be specific. Let's think Jesus. Let's think Krishna, Buddha. People idolize them for good reason. Like I said, they're extremely special. They've been able to perform feats that people can't perceive as possible for them to be capable of. So they'll label them as otherworldly, as gods, as aliens. I don't know. But the wise recognize that whether they used compassion or wickedness, they were just people who had the furnishing to be vessels for such force, such power that lies within all of us, inert for countless, innumerable lives. Countless. So people feel very strongly about that. Oh, Jesus was the one to do it. Oh, no. Buddha was the one to do it. I don't know. Many people can do it. Lots of people have done it. On a large scale, yes, it's very, very few. But where that power lies is everywhere, within all of us. Within all of us. Yes. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole of avatars and idols and whatnot. Heck, maybe these videos will reach a point that people start to idolize me, which I don't want you to do. Not at all. But I'm here to lead by example. I'll say that much. People are going to appreciate that, and people are going to hate that. Hate that. So I want to let you guys know now, I'm in good health. I'm in good spirits. And people are going to hate that. I don't want them to, but I can't control that. Who's gonna hate that? Someone asked. Who could hate that? I don't know. Someone who's hurt people, man. Hurt people. Hurt people can heal people too, though. Okay? And I guess anyone that's really just caught up in and intent on staying on this plane of action for another life after life after life, it's not really my goal. Unless I have to. Like I will. I think that's why I'm not going to say that, actually. That's fancy thought. That's very fancy thought. Man. That's what's uncomfortable about this, is that I feel like I'm stroking my ego. Not trying to. Just trying to be real, guys. Really just trying to be real. So put some dang respect on yourself, man. Put some dang respect. You have the power. And not only do you, but everyone around you does too. And you'll see that. You'll see that as you take steps towards increasing your perspective. Increasing your perspective and gaining a better idea of just who it is that you share your world with. All right. Now that this is like 5 hours long, is that it for today's video? For video number 1? Will I be able to get some sleep tonight? Maybe, just maybe. Let's just listen for a second. This Blue Jay's making it a little bit hard. That's the way this day has been going. Not just this day, but this past freaking month. I don't know, month. Yeah, month. Really. It's been so much obstruction. So much obstruction to trying to be able to receive the guidance that I'm relaying. But it had to happen today. It had to happen today. I'm sorry. Whatever is trying to block this, we're doing it. Too bad, so sad. For real though. Maybe you've been experiencing that too. And like I said, like, you can do all of the work to have the furnishing to be able to relay this as good as you can, but there's things that are out of your control that have to happen. that may hinder it or obscure it in some way. But I don't really think I have to dive into anything else right now. This is going to come up again later anyway. Perception is going to be... The reason I wanted to start with this is because it is a beautiful base for the rest of these P's. That's why it's P number 1 for me. P1, top P. But we got more to cover. I'm not going to reveal what they are. Give you some sort of thing to think about. One last time. Just going to see if there's anything else we need to talk about. So if you got questions, I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to, but someone's making it a little bit hard right now. Probably because I went way past my time limit that I didn't set. You know what I mean? Perception. What do they need to know through me about perception? Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. This is beautiful. So, one word. That's it. Trees. I don't think that's too crazy. Trees. One word. Trees might just be the best teachers. They might just be the best teachers, and they don't have to say a word because they say everything. Man, beautiful. Okay, so let's talk trees for a second here. We'll close out with this because this is pretty cool, I think. So trees have like all of the answers. They really do. Where do I even start? Let's start with the seed. Let's start with the seed. Because trees start as seeds. Yeah? Someone's probably already said this, by the way. But feeling called to just share this with my own style. Trees start with seeds. Maybe just one singular seed. Guess who else does? Like everyone else on the planet. You did. You were a seed. I was a seed. Trees started as seeds. And they form their roots in soil. And just by doing that, their growth can be, I won't say predicted, but if a tree is trying to grow in some like nasty soil, like let's say a soil that's got like, like diesel fuel or like, I don't know, just nasty stuff in it, it's gonna hinder its growth. It might even just, kill its growth over time. But let's say a seed starts in some good soil. That is like feeding your body good food, staying hydrated, and getting fresh air. It's like the keys to having good soils, good nutrients, sunlight, water. We know this. So seeds, okay, and then trees don't just, next day become the monsters they are. And I say monsters as, not that they're monstrous, but like their size can be monstrous. They don't get to that overnight. When trees are just like stems, basically, they actually need the wind, and they need adversity, basically. They need an opposing force to be pushing against them so that they form the strength and the muscles to grow and to become what they are. Just like you have to go through hard lessons, like you have to go through the darkness, through the evil, in order to be the beautiful being that you are. And trees just are. They be. They be. They grow their leaves, produce oxygen, and then when it's time to shed their leaves, when it's time to get rid of the things that no longer serve them, they're not like hanging on for dear life. You just drop them. You just drop them. They make it seem so easy because they're masters. They're great teachers. They're incredible teachers. What would we do without them on this plane of action? They provide home for others. And get this, sometimes they fall and demolish people's houses and cars and stuff. So is the tree evil? Was that even in its control? Or was it pushed by rain and wind and, I don't know, the elements? They don't have to say a word. They simply teach and lead by example. I don't even know what the tree's intentions are. This is just my perspective of them. They just be. Trees be. Trees just be. All right. All right. That feels good. I will end this with a poem that I wrote about 2 months ago. If I can end these with a poem like every time, that'd be pretty awesome. I'm just going to go off ones that I've already written. And then when I run out of them, maybe I'll like prepare one before the video. Unrelated to the video. Maybe it'll tie in some way. But anyway, this is titled Reformation Through Recovery. Give me all your pain, and give me all your sorrow. Let it flow into this heart. For these feelings are not for me to casually borrow. Give me your anger and your ambitious frustration. Let them pass on the train into this grand station. Yet, worry not for this heart, for it will be glad that they came, as it is but rich fuel for its eternal flame. I will stand fast and embrace their slow burn. Watch it transform into light. So love, peace, and delight is what you shall receive in return. Love you guys. Peace out. Next P in the next video. Actually, let me just say what it is. I said I wasn't going to. Next P is going to be... gosh. Sorry for the delay. If you're still here, I can't believe you. You are someone special if you are still here. Holy moly. I went too far. How many months ago did I say? Like 2 months ago? Oh my gosh. Next P is physics. See you in the next one.